the experience because we have many stray dogs here in Greece, but they are well fed, so we take good care of them. But of course, their life expectancy is not that big because they are out in the streets. So they live around 7 to 8 years, something like that. But it's more or less the life expectancy of normal dogs who live out there and not on the couch, waiting to be fed, you know. So yeah, but they're totally calm, totally safe. Make sure that once you hug them or if you want to caress them, you clean your hands, just that, okay, in general. Now, here we are in front of the White Tower, but before the White Tower, I want to make sure we all know where we are, okay? Because it's okay, we talked about Greece, you saw Thessaloniki, I don't know, have you visited Athens before? Yes. Yeah, perfect. So you might have already checked the map over here. This is Greece, okay, the white thing, the whole thing here, with all the islands over here, and it is at the end of a peninsula called the Balkans. The Balkans is a group of different countries like Albania over here, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, and on top it's Romania. You might have heard of all these countries, Montenegro, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia-Herzegovina. So there are like 10 countries with different religions, languages, traditions. We are a melting pot. Why I'm saying that? Because it is a bit, how can I say it, common that since these countries are inhabited by high-tempered people with mentality really Mediterranean one, as we call it, then we might have many fights, wars, and all the stuff. You might have heard, for instance, in 1999, 24 years ago, Serbia, a country here, was bombed by NATO. There are different reasons for that. Or there was a big war in 1995 where many people got killed back then. So anyway, and here's Turkey. Exactly. So you know, more or less, in general with our neighbors we don't really get along, unfortunately. I mean, we have sea borders with Italy. We are totally fine with Italians. We adore them and they adore us back. We usually say that we are same face, same race. This is the name. That we look like them and we enjoy their company, we look alike. The thing is that one of the last wars we had, it was with the Italians in 1940, but still we love them. I really don't know why, I'm just telling you that so that little by little we can get the idea of how all people, even in Philippines, together with your neighbors, the difference is that you all have sea borders with your neighbors, right? Because you're a big, big island. That might have saved your lives, but for us with land borders, it's a bit tricky. But it's just for you to get the idea what Greeks believe and what the others believe about ourselves and what we believe about the others. For instance, you came to a country called Greece. I'm Greek as well, as far as I know. And all countries try to create their national storytelling, to trace back their roots, okay, and create a really nice story, national story about themselves. I don't know what's your story in Philippines, but in Greece is that we are the best, that we invented everything. Olympic Games, theater, literature, philosophy, you name them, okay. All the rest are just footnotes on that big, big book of history that's full with Greek history. Okay, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I don't want to be misunderstood, okay? I'm saying the way we are educated, and this is really important, how we behave with all the other countries, to all the other countries. It's the same for all the other countries towards us. So this is really interesting to check. So probably that's why we don't really get along, because it's a fault of all countries, no matter what. With Turkey, you do know many things. I don't want to go on with it because we will be talking about Turkey throughout our city tour, no matter what, because we were under the Ottoman Empire for 500 years. Ottomans were the ancestors of today's Turks. Okay, so it means that there were people over here who came all the way to Greece and then different parts of the whole Eastern Mediterranean place where we are, and they conquered the place. So no matter what, we had many things in common with Turks. We're going to talk about it. And then we have these three countries here. It's Albania over here, Bulgaria, and this one is North Macedonia. A tricky country as well. I'm going to tell you more. You see this country, Bulgaria. Bulgaria has always wanted to have access to the Aegean. but you see that this short strait of land never let them do it because it's Greek. Okay, it's inhabited by Greeks. So we had wars with them for many years, from 1913 to 1919, and then during the Second World War as well. And it was really hard because they conquered the whole place here of Greece. They killed many Greeks, they banned Greek language from schools, and they even scraped off all the inscriptions in Greek, and they destroyed our churches. We are Christian Orthodox, if you know that. We are going to visit a church, and over there we're going to talk about it. Bulgarians are Christian Orthodox themselves as well. So it was Orthodox people killing Orthodox people. Do you know an example nowadays that happens again really close to us? Exactly. Russia and Ukraine is the same. I'm saying that because in our mind it's all about Arabs. It's Arabs' fault or Muslims. Nothing to do if you really check it. It's all about interests probably, and that's why war happened. Anyway, Albania, one of the strictest communist regimes in the world till 1990. In 1990 they opened up the borders, and guess where 1 million immigrants decided to go to? Greece. 1 million Albanians came to Greece, and Greece was not prepared for such a thing. Nevertheless, they had really tough time. Greeks the same, because there was a rise of racism back then. Thank God, half of them live in Greece already, still live in Greece, and they are totally integrated into the Greek system. This is really fine. The others went back to their country because Albania now is a lot better place to live. Thank God everything is past nowadays. And now here we are in North Macedonia. This is really tricky thing, and I would like to tell you more things about it. North Macedonia, when you hear North Macedonia, what does it come to your mind? When you hear North, what are you looking for? No, say that, there's nothing wrong or right, just playing around. It's free time here, okay? So enjoy. What are we looking for? You hear North. You have North Korea and you're looking for South Korea. Where's South here? Nowhere. Usually this is the case, this is where it should be. But no, there's no South Macedonia, just North. Now, the idea is, I do know it's a bit tricky, but have you flown here by airplane?
Yes.
So did you land here in our airport or Athens? Athens, okay. If you had flown here, if you had landed here, you would have landed in an airport called Macedonia Airport of Thessaloniki. I have friends of mine calling me and telling me, Yorgo, we're in a different country. Sorry, we landed in Macedonia, ha ha ha, because they want to make fun. Why? Because the province here of northern Greece is called Macedonia as well. But the province, and we have a country that is called North Macedonia. Really tricky, I know. Back to history, like 2000. Tell me.
There's an arrow in Macedonia.
Exactly, that's it. So the idea is, am I going to North Macedonia or to the airport? It can be tricky, okay? So just to clear things out, is that here is Macedonia, North Macedonia, a country. The whole place here, for at least 2,500 years, it was called Macedonia. And it created the Macedonian kingdom. Do you know who was a really, really prominent offspring of that Macedonian kingdom? A really, really famous warrior, a king of the kings. We're going to visit one of his statues in 15 minutes from now. Alexander. He was Alexander III, but he was called Alexander the Great. Okay, he was born here, in a place, here's Thessaloniki, okay? And he was born here, so next to Thessaloniki actually, in the Macedonian kingdom that encompassed, comprised all these places, but it was a geographical term. Okay, so Macedonia was something geographical, never a national term. Okay, for years non-stop. But we will never call ourselves Macedonians here. We were Greeks living in a territory called Macedonia, like in France, Alsace, for instance, okay? Something like that. The thing is that in the 19th century, when all countries started trying to trace back their roots and their national history, as we said about Greeks and stuff, they wanted, because they belonged to different countries here, and in 20th century they became Yugoslavia, a group of different republics. They wanted to be called Macedonians because they wanted to claim Alexander the Great and his father Philip II. Now it cannot be the case because they came here in 6th century after Christ, and Alexander the Great and Philip II lived here in 4th century before Christ. So there is a difference of 900 years. We need to consider that it's a really big, time span. Okay, so nothing to do with Alexander the Great and Philip II. Nevertheless, this is what they wanted. It's totally okay because it was their part. They wanted to make sure they would call themselves Macedonians. And we didn't like that at all. So it meant that we blocked them the way. And since we belong to the European Union, a group of 27 countries, the other countries were forced to block them the way as well. So we didn't send any products, any goods, nothing to them for 30 years, which was really bad. Thank God in 2017 we reached an agreement, and they can call themselves North Macedonians, their language North Macedonian, their country North Macedonia, but there is no south. Okay, the southern part of Macedonia is the place here, which actually is Greece, is the northern part of Greece. Does it make any sense? More or less? Yeah. Okay, so there is a country, but no south. Okay, that's the idea. Now we get along, they come over here, they are tourists and everything, so it is really, really nice. It's a lot better nowadays. Many Greeks don't really like it, that thing, that they're called Macedonians, but let's face it, there was nothing else we can do. The thing is that they still claim the nationality of Alexander the Great, which is a bit tricky. Just for you to get an idea, is that they just wanted to use a geographical term as a national one, and they made it. Okay, this is the general idea. Now, here's Thessaloniki, as we said, here's Athens, okay, Crete, just for you to get the idea, one of the largest islands in the Mediterranean, and then a little bit of zoom in, this is Thessaloniki, okay, this is the center of Thessaloniki, that actually used to be walled all around the area. We met up today here. Here it was where you had lunch, okay? And then we met with Yannis over here, and we started all the way, the driver, all the way alongside the port and the waterfront of the city, all the way here. Here's the White Tower. Here we are, okay? So this is the one. South, north, east, west. Where we are is north, south, east, west. Okay, so it means that all the way up here, there's another tower, and over there we are going to enjoy the view over there, because it's like this. Thessaloniki, it is built theatrically. So if you think that you can just walk around really easily, not the case, because it's like high up on the mountain over here. Okay, and that's why we are going there to enjoy the view. Now back to the White Tower. It is the one in front of you. Does it really look like white? No, not at all, exactly. It's really grayish, isn't it? It's like grey, exactly. Now the thing is that this tower was called the Tower of Blood or the Red Tower. Why? Because during the Ottoman Empire, I told you that we were under the Ottoman Empire for 500 years, the ancestors of the Turks, here it was a prison. And back then people were not really patient as we are today. It means that by the time you entered prison, they would cut your head off. It means that because of this cutting head, it would be splattering all the walls, okay? Or some other times they would always throw off the windows, the heads of the decapitated people, or they would hang them from these windows. It meant that both the interior and the exterior walls were painted in red. That's why they called it the Red Tower. In 1826, the Sultan is the king of the Ottomans. He was really in bad terms with some of his best soldiers called Janissaries. They protested against him. They came in terms after a while, but he never forgot that, and he called them in, he locked them in, and he killed 3,000 people inside here. So you understand, it is indeed the Tower of Blood. Late 19th century, the Ottoman Empire wanted to have a better name in Western Europe. Let's say that they couldn't be considered Europeans if they had a tower called Red Tower or the Tower of Blood, okay, in their empire, as if the Westerners never had committed any crimes. Just to remind you, the Crusades. If you know what Crusades were, it was Western Europeans starting all the way in whole Europe, slaughtering people and going all the way to Jerusalem to kill people there as well. So it was something like that. But still, the Sultan wanted that. So late 19th, he ordered it to be whitewashed. So that's why it became totally white. After that, we never painted it again to have that, you know, old touch. Okay, that's why. Nowadays, it houses a lot more peaceful function. It is the city museum of Thessaloniki, and as you see, I mean, it is 32 meters high. It's tall, 32 meters, and it consists of two cylinders, an exterior one that consists of 5 floors, and an interior one of 6 floors. So the one on the top leads to a balcony, and over there you have a wonderful view, as I told you, on the bus already. And inside you enter by a spiral staircase. Yeah, this is the case. It was a prison and a fortress, so you can understand why. Because it was at the port, okay, overlooking everybody who would come to the city of Thessaloniki, okay, through the Thermaic Gulf. Of course, we will be talking about it. If you have free time, you can always get these boats over there, and it's there are no tickets. You just pay the drink inside, and you go around the Thermaic Gulf just for a walk. I mean, I did it last time with some groups, and they liked it a lot because you have a completely different perspective of the city of Thessaloniki on board over here. This is the landmark of Thessaloniki, the White Tower. It is an Ottoman building built 550 years ago. It is really interesting because the landmark of Thessaloniki, which is a Christian Orthodox city, is an Ottoman building built by Muslims. This is amazing. Half of our locals don't really know that. They believe it is built by Venetians. Venetians are like Italians, you know, so Catholics, so better for us. If they come to know that this is built by Muslims, they will kill themselves on the spot. Again, why? Because of our history and the things, you know, since we had been under the Ottoman Empire for such a long time, it can be hard sometimes. Okay, we will be talking about it more. Any questions? Because now we're going to walk towards our bus, but over there we're going to go to the right a bit to go to the statue of Alexander the Great. And over there talk a little bit about Alexander. Are you okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Can we take a picture?
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Over there, overlooking the tower.
Yeah.
Yes.